What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pulse of the Cosmos. I'm your astrologer, Emily, and we are here today to talk about this upcoming full moon in Libra that's happening Tuesday, April 7th. If you're on the Pacific Coast like me, it's going to be happening around 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But in any case, let's jump into this. I'm sorry, I know I look a mess, but I started just downloading you guys, and I wanted to get this out to you direct because I was really doing some deep work looking into what this Libra full moon is bringing up for us, and what would be beneficial for everybody to know with the energy surrounding that. And there's a lot that started to come up. So this might be a little bit of a rambling video, but it's going to have some really good content in it for you guys. So I think first we need to look at the cycles that are involved with full moon. So go back to your life 6 months ago, I think September 28th. So end of September, early November is when we had the last new moon in Libra. So there was an intention created there. There was a cycle started there, and a cycle to do with balance that you were trying to incorporate in your life, and a larger picture of this, especially with Libra, in terms of your relationships, your projects, your partnerships. This isn't just romance partnerships. This is business partnerships. This is projects you're involved in, trying to incorporate some balance into your life, some balance between your inner world and your outer world, and setting some intentions to enact upon those actions. So there was a cycle that came up around that time that's coming to some level of a completion point with this full moon. Like, you should have been, if you have been putting action towards those intentions, seeing the manifestations of those, and you'll see the kind of evolution of the cycle happening within this full moon. And even more interestingly enough, and I wanted to bring this up as well, because it was 2 years ago, I believe 2018, we had a full moon cycle that landed two full moons in Libra. So the second one was a blue moon. A blue moon is when you get two full moons in one sign in a year. So a blue moon would be the second full moon that happens in the same sign. But in any case, in April of 2018, we had two full moons happen in Libra. So even look back to those cycles as well. 2018, what were the cycles and the balance, and what was going on with your partnerships, and what was going on with the decisions you were making surrounding your partnerships and your projects and your intentions, and what were you kind of releasing and looking to create at some level by this point. Because it's so crazy that we have a full moon in Libra, which deals so much with balance and with incorporating balance within ourselves, with our own divine masculine and feminine, and balance in the world around us, with our partnerships with other people, and our projects and our relationships with other people. And it's such a crazy time to have attention called to that, when it seems like balance is just absent. Like, where is it? Like, we're in such an unbalanced time. But how you come into this balance, or how you find the balance, or a way that you can that's effective, is by creating it within yourself, and by creating an emotional space within yourself that's balanced, a balance between your own divine feminine and your own divine masculine, a congruence between your inner world and your outer world. Where are things matching up for you? Where are things starting to align? We've been talking a lot about the structures that we've been looking to create over the past couple of years with all of this Capricorn energy. We're moving into some heavy Aquarius energy, so it's going to be a lot more about the connections we're building throughout this kind of collapse that we're seeing, because we do see some crazy things happening. And one of the biggest aspects of this full moon that I want to point out is that Mars will be squaring over exactly to Uranus. And why this is interesting is because you have Mars, right? Mars is a very kind of divisive planet, and it comes through, and Mars breaks up the form of things, whereas Pluto breaks down the atomic structure. So Mars is a very aggressive force. It's our desire force, and it's going to be squaring over to Uranus and Taurus, where we already know historically Uranus coming into this area and coming into Taurus brings kind of financial kind of chaos at times. You can look back to the last time Uranus was in Taurus to see more about that for yourself. But in any case, so yeah, we have these two forces kind of squaring off to each other. And Mars is associated with the Tower card in tarot, which is a moment where everything falls apart, right? The Tower card is chaos. It's like this tower with people flying out of it and lightning striking down. But what I associate that kind of with is that there comes this moment sometimes where when people become so accustomed to suffering, it's necessary to experience a complete collapse, a complete release, to rebuild upon new foundations that are of a more solid worth, right? When you become so accustomed to suffering, sometimes everything needs to collapse around you in order for you to see kind of how crazy the way that you've been living in. You can see that happening in the world around you. I think a lot of people are going through these awakening moments. But anyway, so we have this Tower card moment kind of squaring over to Uranus, which is this disruptive planet as it is. But I think what's important to pay attention to through this square is Uranus is trying to connect you to a better place, to a new reality that's going to take some disruption to get there. And B, although Mars is this Tower card moment, this is crazy, you guys. This is where this stuff just kind of blows my mind. We have Libra. So at the same time as this square, we have the full moon in Libra happening. So the Hebrew letter associated with Libra is Hamed. Now, interestingly enough, Lamed is the only Hebrew letter by Hebrew tradition to go up. And what this symbolizes in Hebrew tradition is a tower coming up out of the earth. So we have this tower moment where we have one tower crumbling down, but at the same time, we have this full moon in Libra, which represents this tower of justice coming up out of the earth. So there are so many things crashing down around us, and even you have to pay attention to as well, Venus rules Libra. Venus in the Babylonian creation epic is Hamsu, I think it is. Lahamu. So Hamed associates with Libra in ancient Hebrew. And then Hamsu in the Babylonian creation epic is representative of Venus, of the planet Venus, which rules Libra. Venus also just transited through the Pleiades star system, you guys. And this only happens when she goes right over the top of them once every 8 years. This is major interdimensional ascension, light energy coming directly to us. And I think during this full moon as well, she's going to be trining over to the midpoint, right in between Mars and Saturn. So, and Saturn, I should point out as well, Saturn's going to be a grounding force to this Mars kind of wanting to break up all of this form. I think Saturn's going to put a few limitations on the way that Mars kind of wants to aggressively go through and kind of destroy everything. I think Saturn's going to apply some of his limitation boundary energy there. But we do have Venus training over with that light, coming over with that excellent Pleiadian energy, kind of, and telling everybody to look towards the beauty and to lean into kind of the love energy in this situation. I don't know about you guys, but I have been so blessed to have been able to connect with people in my life in a way, sometimes in a deeper way, having gone through all of this as a collective, bringing up deeper things. I'm talking, conversations with family, Zoom conferences with people across the country. I mean, we are all going through these terrible moments, but I think those of us who are awake and those of us who are engaging with the love energy and those of us who are trying to hold space for that light, while so many people are in fear, we're finding some beauty through all this and some connection through all this, especially with all of the transits that Venus just did throughout the Pleiades. But this is a full moon, so it is, you know, a moon opposing a sun in Aries. So there's this reconciliation that needs to be happening between your force to identify yourself as different and as an individual, and look at the reflection of the partnerships that you're incorporating within that. Is there congruency between your inner and outer world? Is your inner world really expressing itself to its fullest potential in your external world? Are you commanding that inner voice into existence to exercise your divine right to work with the energies around you? There's so much to explore that's going on throughout this full moon, because Libra, I think this is truly a time where we're watching a lot of some of the more patriarchal structures fall, and maybe an opportunity for some reevaluation of what the future looks like in that manner. These are major changes. These are major change times. These are major. And if you've watched my previous videos where I've talked about all of the ancient cycles that are kind of colliding into this one short space, we're part of the generations of souls. We're that collective that's carrying that light forward. What part of that are you on? Not to create sides or division, but like, are you holding space for the light? Are you awake to what's happening around you? Are you raising your conscious awareness? Because that's what this energy is giving us the ability to work with. I mean, people are awakening to crazy intuitive abilities throughout this process, crazy psychic abilities throughout this process. People are uncovering their passions. People are discovering truths about themselves. And a lot of pain that comes up surrounding kind of some of those things as well. But these are crazy, crazy, crazy moments, you guys. And this full moon in Libra is calling so much attention, I believe, to, is your inner world and your outer world congruent? Are you aligned with the connections that are taking you to the future that you want to be a part of? Is your soul, are you engaged with your soul's alignment right now? Have you gotten in touch with your inner voice to find that balance between those worlds? Have you spent time with your own soul's work and your own shadow work and looking into that balance? Because if you look to the glyph of Libra, there's a lot involved in the glyph. So you have, on one hand, you have the top part, which is like this line, and this is like the level of truth above earth. This is like divine knowledge. This is the divine knowledge that the Libran energy carries with it. This divine knowledge of knowing how to orchestrate balance and where to incorporate and where to let go and where to integrate and how to keep the balance within things, right? But there's also this underline, right? A line above that or below that one, and that's matter. So it's incorporating that divine knowledge, right? And grounding it in the matter of this earth. So Libran energy is very important. It's very important. It connects things. It connects all of us. It's our relationships. It's our partnerships. It's our projects. It's what we're carrying into the darker side of the zodiac, going through, you know, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, going through the darker parts of the zodiac. It's what partnerships are aligning with us, or what's in alignment with our soul evolution, and within yourself as well, because this is a marriage between the divine feminine and the divine masculine within yourself, and finding alignment within yourself. And what does Venus rule? She rules our values, right? Where is Uranus? It's in Taurus, which is what Venus rules as well. So this is our values. This is a lot of our values having to be disrupted and rebuilt, and looking at the connections that are really in alignment with those. Where do you stand with that? Are you comfortable with the kind of connections that you have right now? Are you comfortable with the way that they're contributing to what your future is going to look like? And really, truly look back to 6 months ago, end of September, early November, the last new moon cycle. What was going on in your life then? What was going on in April 2018? What was going on in your life then? What's a part of this cycle that you need to be looking at in terms of the balance in your life and your partnerships and projects? And like I've said, this is all stuff that deals with Libra. So really be looking to how congruent you are with your inner world and your external world, and the balance within your relationships. Who's adding value? Are you contributing value? Because it's also not all about if people are adding value to your life, but are you contributing value? Are you giving value to the relationships that you're in? This is balance. You're looking at more than one side. You're looking at other people's sides too. That's Libra. Libra is ruled by the scales, or it's represented by the scales. It's the only sign represented by an inanimate object. It's the ability to be objective. It's a dualistic sign. It's the ability to look at both sides. So you need to look at your side and everything too. This is part of how we incorporate the balance. So this is important. This is important to look at as well. And whereas your will in the sun might be to like self-assert and assert your individuality and assert your, whatever importance above others at times, now is the time to pay attention to your relationship within the collective. And it's interesting that we have Mars and Saturn over there in Aquarius, and that we have Uranus, which rules Aquarius and Taurus, and that we're coming into this age of Aquarius, because Aquarian energy very much so has the urge to have like the freedom to individualize as well, but it yearns to do so under a larger structure. It doesn't want chaos. Aquarian energy doesn't want chaos. It wants freedom, and it wants individuality, but it wants so under the larger net of a connected humanity, of a connected mankind. And I'm going to sound like a broken record when I keep saying this, but the way to start engaging with these energies and the way to start incorporating this kind of stuff in your life is to focus on the emotions and the meditations and the prayers that surround things like compassion and gratitude and love. And, not prayers of pleading, and putting yourself in this lower position. You are divine in your own right. Command things into existence, meditate on compassion for other people and on love for other people, and things of that nature. But there's so many things that we can be doing as a collective to help battle this in our own ways. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I know for myself, I don't have anything to contribute really to what's going on other than my energy. So I'm damn sure going to make sure it's positive and that it's full of love, and that I'm trying to send out compassion and healing, and also operating discernment. Libra, especially with this Libra full moon, because you need to have extra special discernment with what's going on out there in the media. And you need, I shouldn't be saying you should and you need, but honestly, think about it. Think about what you're allowing into your mind and what you're feeding your mind with constantly. And if it's just constantly negative, fearful, frightful things, take some space away from that to engage with something that brings you pleasure and something that brings you joy. maybe even some creative energies, but there's a lot to work with here. But I think the main message of this full moon is that you need to make sure that your inner world and your outer world are congruent, and that the decisions that you're making now and the connections you're leaning into now are who you want to carry with you into this new reality. Because we're undergoing a lot of change and a lot of transformation. There's a lot going on with mankind as a whole right now. I know we all feel that, so I won't focus on that too much. But what I really wanted to get across to you guys, and something that was channeled to me just so intensely and so directly, was that relationship between Mars and the Tower card moment, right? Mars and this Tower card moment of destruction and things falling apart. But at the same time, having this full moon in Libra energy, Hamed, the only Hebrew letter to go up, and by Hebrew tradition represents a tower coming out of the ground. We're balancing that destruction with new creation. We are creating new realities for ourselves as we speak. What kind of energy are you feeding into your new reality? What kind of decisions are you feeding into this new reality? What kind of partnerships are you feeding into this new reality? What kind of balance are you incorporating into your life at this point? So this is big. This is big. But I just wanted to hop on here and get that out of my head real quick. I'm starting to have things just kind of wither out. So I'm thinking I'm done for right now, but I am going to be back with the Sun, Moon, Rising horoscopes, weekly horoscopes, where I'm going to go deeply into how the full moon affects you and your natal chart and what house systems. So look out for those on YouTube, Pulse of the Cosmos. And in any case, I love all of you guys. I hope you're staying well and healthy. And until next time.